Today we're bringing 12 North Dakota legends back to life. The most haunting stories from the Great Plains State. Number 1. Mini Washu, the Missouri River Monster. Deep in the muddy waters of the Missouri River lurks something ancient and terrifying. The Mini Washu, a creature from Native American legend that has haunted these waters for centuries. Described as a massive, hairy beast with a single glowing eye, this river monster is said to be as large as a buffalo, but moves through water like a serpent. According to tribal stories passed down through generations, the Mini Washu would rise from the depths during storms, capsizing canoes and dragging unsuspecting travelers beneath the surface. Its single eye could hypnotize victims, leaving them helpless as the creature pulled them into the dark waters below. Early settlers dismissed these tales as superstition, but strange incidents continued to pile up. Fishermen reported seeing something massive moving beneath their boats. Others claimed to hear unearthly roars echoing across the water on foggy nights. Some brave souls even said they glimpsed a huge, shadowy form watching them from just below the surface before vanishing into the murky depths. Even today, locals along the Missouri River speak in hushed tones about unexplained waves that rock boats on calm days and the feeling of being watched while fishing alone. Whether you believe in ancient monsters or not, the legend of Mini Washu reminds us that North Dakota's waters hold secrets as deep and dark as the river itself. Number 2. White Lady Lane. In the small town of Walhalla, near the Canadian border, there's a lonely stretch of rural road that locals refuse to drive alone at night. They call it White Lady Lane, and for good reason. For decades, travelers have reported seeing a woman in a flowing white dress walking along the roadside, only to vanish when they stop to help. The legend began in the 1940s, when a young bride was killed in a car accident on her wedding night. Her body was found in a crumpled white gown, but some say her spirit never found peace. She's been seen countless times since, always wearing the same pristine dress, always walking the same stretch of road where her life ended. Drivers describe the same chilling encounter. They see her in their headlights, a beautiful woman in white, seemingly lost and in need of help. But when they pull over and look back, she's gone. Some claim she appears in their rearview mirror, sitting silently in the back seat before fading away. Others report their cars breaking down near the spot where she died, only to start again once they've walked past a certain point. The air grows cold, and an overwhelming sadness fills anyone who lingers too long on that lonely stretch of road. Today, White Lady Lane remains one of North Dakota's most enduring ghost stories. Whether she's searching for her lost love or trying to warn others of danger, the White Lady continues her eternal walk along that desolate road, reminding us that some stories refuse to die. Number 3. Haven Sanatorium. Rising from the prairie like a monument to suffering, the abandoned Haven Sanatorium stands as one of North Dakota's most haunted locations. Built in 1912 to treat tuberculosis patients, this massive complex housed thousands of people over the decades, many of whom never left alive. The sanatorium was a city unto itself, with its own power plant, farm, and even a morgue. Patients came here hoping for a cure, but tuberculosis was often a death sentence. The building witnessed countless final breaths, desperate prayers, and broken hearts as families said goodbye forever. After closing in 1987, the empty halls began attracting more than just urban explorers. Security guards reported hearing coughing and wheezing echoing through abandoned wards. Others claimed to see patients in hospital gowns wandering the corridors, still seeking treatment that will never come. Visitors describe feeling watched from empty doorways and hearing their names whispered by invisible voices. Some have photographed mysterious figures in windows of floors that have been sealed off for years. The basement morgue is said to be the most active area, where cold spots and unexplained shadows make even the bravest ghost hunters uneasy. Equipment malfunctions are common here, with cameras dying and flashlights failing without explanation. Some say the spirits are trying to communicate, while others believe they're simply protecting their final resting place. Today, Haven Sanatorium remains a powerful reminder of North Dakota's medical history and the souls who suffered within its walls. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, this place carries the weight of thousands of stories, each one echoing through its empty halls. Number 4. Fort Abraham Lincoln. On the banks of the Missouri River sits Fort Abraham Lincoln, a military post with a history steeped in conflict and tragedy. Established in 1872, it was home to cavalry units and infantry soldiers, including the famous 7th Cavalry, led by George Armstrong Custer. But with its violent past come stories of spirits that refuse to leave their posts. The fort witnessed the departure of Custer's ill-fated expedition to the Little Bighorn, from which he and many of his men never returned. Some say their spirits came back to the place they last called home, still searching for orders that will never come. Park rangers and visitors have reported seeing soldiers in period uniforms walking the grounds at dawn, their footsteps crunching on frost-covered grass before they fade into morning mist. Others have heard bugle calls echoing across empty parade grounds and the sound of horses' hooves where no horses stand. The most chilling encounters happen near the commissary and barracks, where witnesses claim to see Native American warriors watching from the tree line, as if still guarding their ancestral lands. The tension between cultures that existed in life seems to linger in death, creating an atmosphere thick with unresolved conflict. Cold spots appear without warning, even on hot summer days, and some visitors report feeling sudden, overwhelming sadness while walking through certain areas. Equipment failures are common, and many have captured unexplained lights and shadows in photographs. Today, Fort Abraham Lincoln operates as a state park, welcoming visitors to explore its reconstructed buildings and learn about frontier military life. But as the sun sets over the Missouri River, some say the fort comes alive with echoes of its turbulent past, where soldiers and Native Americans continue their eternal watch. Number 5. Custer House. Within Fort Abraham Lincoln stands the reconstructed home of General George Armstrong Custer and his wife, Libby. While the original house burned down in 1881, the spirits that once lived there seem unaware that their home was ever destroyed. The new structure, built on the exact foundation of the original, has become a hotbed of paranormal activity. Visitors and staff regularly report seeing a woman in a Victorian dress moving through the parlor and kitchen, believed to be Libby Custer still tending to her home. She appears most often in the late afternoon, as if preparing for her husband's return from patrol. Some say she looks directly at them with sad, knowing eyes before disappearing. The general himself has also been spotted, usually in his study or standing at the window that once overlooked the parade grounds. Witnesses describe a tall figure in a military uniform, pacing as if deep in thought or waiting for news that will never come. Strange sounds fill the house after closing time. Footsteps echo from the second floor when no one is there, and doors open and close on their own. The piano has been heard playing melancholy tunes, though it sits untouched behind its protective barriers. Some visitors report feeling a heavy sadness wash over them while touring the bedroom, as if sensing the final farewell between the couple before Custer's departure for Little Bighorn. Others have experienced sudden temperature drops and the distinct feeling of being watched by invisible eyes. Park interpreters have learned to expect the unexpected at Custer House. Whether it's the General and Libby still living their domestic life, or simply the emotional imprint of their final days together, this reconstructed home proves that some love stories echo beyond the grave. Number 6. Liberty Memorial Building. In downtown Bismarck, the stately Liberty Memorial Building serves as the seat of North Dakota's government. Built in 1924 as a monument to fallen soldiers, this neoclassical structure houses state offices and legislative chambers. But after hours, when the business of government ends, something else seems to take over. Night security guards have reported footsteps echoing through empty hallways and the sound of voices in conference rooms where no meetings are scheduled. Elevators run on their own, stopping at floors where no one called them, and lights flicker in patterns that seem too deliberate to be electrical problems. The most active area appears to be the memorial portion of the building, dedicated to North Dakota's war dead. Here, guards have seen shadowy figures in military uniforms walking the halls as if still serving their state in death. Some believe these are the spirits of soldiers whose names are carved in the memorial walls. Staff members have reported their computers turning on by themselves and documents mysteriously moving overnight. Cold spots appear without explanation, and some have heard the faint sound of marching feet coming from floors that should be empty. During legislative sessions, some lawmakers claim to feel an unusual presence in the chambers, as if invisible observers are watching the proceedings. Whether these are the spirits of former legislators or the war heroes the building honors, their presence seems protective rather than threatening. Today, the Liberty Memorial Building continues to serve North Dakota, but it appears to serve more than just the living. In a place dedicated to remembering those who served, it seems fitting that some have never truly left their posts. Number 7. Spirit Mound. Rising from the South Dakota border into North Dakota, Spirit Mound has been considered sacred and dangerous by Native American tribes for centuries. This hill, barely 75 feet high, was believed to be inhabited by little spirits, no bigger than children, but fierce enough to kill anyone who dared approach their home. According to tribal legend, these spirits were armed with sharp arrows and moved with supernatural speed. They would attack any human who climbed the mound, piercing them with countless tiny wounds until they died. Even the bravest warriors avoided this place, and tribal leaders warned their people to stay away. When Lewis and Clark explored the area in 1804, they dismissed these warnings as superstition. But after climbing the mound, they reported feeling uneasy and noted that no animals lived on its slopes. Clark wrote in his journal about an oppressive atmosphere that made their horses nervous and their men anxious to leave. Modern visitors often report similar feelings. Hikers describe sudden, overwhelming dread that forces them to turn back before reaching the summit. Others have experienced equipment malfunctions, with GPS devices spinning wildly and compasses pointing in wrong directions. Some claim to see small figures darting between the sparse vegetation, always at the edge of vision. Others report hearing tiny voices, carried on the wind, speaking in languages they don't understand. The lack of wildlife on the mound continues to puzzle scientists, as surrounding areas teem with prairie life. Whether inhabited by ancient spirits or simply carrying the weight of centuries of fear and reverence, Spirit Mound remains a place where the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds seems thin. In the vast emptiness of the Great Plains, some places demand respect, and Spirit Mound is one of them. Number 8. The Ghosts of Madora. In the heart of the North Dakota Badlands sits Madora, a town that captured the spirit of the Wild West and apparently never let it go. Founded in 1883 by a French nobleman, this frontier town was once filled with rough cowboys, ambitious settlers, and dreamers seeking their fortune. Though the boom days ended long ago, Some residents seem to have stayed behind. Visitors walking the wooden sidewalks at night report hearing the jingle of spurs and the creaking of leather boots on the old boardwalks. Saloon doors that have been sealed for decades occasionally swing open, as if invisible patrons are still pushing through for one more drink. The most famous ghost is believed to be that of a cowboy who died in a shootout behind the old saloon. Witnesses describe seeing a figure in a wide-brimmed hat and chaps, always disappearing around corners just as they're spotted. Some say he tips his hat before vanishing, a polite specter from a more courteous time. At the historic Château de Mores, staff and visitors have reported cold spots and the sound of French being spoken in empty rooms. The Marquis de Mores, who founded the town, is said to still walk through his mansion, perhaps wondering what became of his grand plans for a cattle empire. During summer theater performances, actors sometimes glimpse figures in period clothing sitting in the audience, only to find empty seats when they look again. The spirits seem to enjoy the entertainment, perhaps reminiscing about livelier days when Madora was young and wild. Today, Madora thrives as a tourist destination, celebrating its Western heritage with pride. But as the sun sets over the Badlands and the modern crowds head home, the town seems to step back in time, welcoming its ghostly residents for another night in the Old West. Number 9. The Devil's Lake Monster. Beneath the dark waters of Devil's Lake lurks something that has terrorized fishermen and swimmers for over a century. This massive freshwater lake, the largest natural body of water in North Dakota, is said to be home to a creature that makes even experienced anglers think twice about casting their lines. Native American tribes warned early settlers about something dangerous in the lake's depths, describing a massive serpentine creature that could drag canoes underwater with ease. They believed the lake was cursed, which is how it earned its ominous name. Witnesses describe encounters with something enormous moving just beneath the surface, creating waves in otherwise calm water. Fishermen report their boats being violently rocked by unseen forces and their nets returning torn and empty after promising catches. The most terrifying accounts come from swimmers who claim to have felt something brush against their legs in deep water. Several people have reported being pulled underwater by an invisible force, fighting their way back to the surface with mysterious scratches and bruises. Local fishing guides speak of a creature 30 feet long with multiple humps breaking the surface during storms. Some have photographed strange wakes moving through the water when no boats are present, and sonar equipment occasionally picks up massive shapes moving in the deepest parts of the lake. Unlike other lake monsters, Devil's Lake creature seems aggressive rather than shy. Boats have been found capsized with no explanation, and some swimmers have simply vanished without a trace. The lake gives up its secrets reluctantly, if at all. Whether it's an ancient creature that survived from prehistoric times or something born from the lake's supernatural reputation, the Devil's Lake monster continues to make this beautiful body of water one of North Dakota's most feared natural landmarks. Number 10. The Ghost of the Patterson Hotel. In the heart of Bismarck stands the historic Patterson Hotel, a grand establishment that has welcomed travelers since 1911. But not all guests check out when their stay ends. This elegant hotel has become known for phantom visitors who seem to have made it their permanent home. The most frequent sighting is that of a woman in 1920s attire, complete with a beaded dress and feathered headband. She's often seen gliding through the lobby late at night, or standing at the front desk as if trying to check in. Staff members have approached her only to watch her fade away before their eyes. Room 205 is particularly active, with guests reporting unexplained knocking on the walls and the sound of someone pacing the floor above, even when that room is empty. The elevator frequently stops at floors where no one called it, and the doors open to reveal empty hallways. Housekeeping staff have found rooms they just cleaned mysteriously disheveled, with beds unmade and towels scattered about. Some report feeling watched while working alone and hearing whispers in empty rooms. A few have quit after encountering the ghostly woman, claiming she seemed sad and lost. The hotel's ballroom is another hotspot for paranormal activity. During events, staff sometimes catch glimpses of couples dancing in the corners, dressed in clothing from decades past. The phantom dancers never acknowledge the living, lost in their own eternal celebration. Cold spots appear without warning throughout the building, and guests frequently report their electronics malfunctioning during their stays. Despite the supernatural activity, most visitors find the presences friendly rather than frightening, as if the spirits simply enjoy the company of the living. The Patterson Hotel continues to serve modern travelers while honoring its ghostly residents. In a building with over a century of stories, it seems only natural that some guests would want to extend their stay indefinitely. Number 11. The Burning Bride of Grand Forks On. Quiet nights in Grand Forks. Residents sometimes glimpse a tragic figure wandering the streets near the old downtown district. She appears as a young woman in a charred wedding gown, her face hidden by a scorched veil, forever searching for something she'll never find. The legend began in 1922 when a devastating fire swept through a boarding house on the night before a young woman's wedding. Margaret Anderson had been staying there with her wedding party, making final preparations for what should have been the happiest day of her life. Instead, she perished in the flames while trying to save her wedding dress. Witnesses first reported seeing her spirit just days after the fire, walking through the ruins in her burned gown. As the city rebuilt, her appearances continued, always near the site of the old boarding house. She seems to be looking for her lost love, the groom who waited at the altar for a bride who would never come. The burning bride appears most often during wedding season, as if drawn by the joy she'll never experience. Couples taking wedding photos downtown sometimes find her in the background of their pictures, a somber reminder of love interrupted by tragedy. She's been seen peering into bridal shops and lingering near churches, always maintaining her distance from the living. Some witnesses report feeling overwhelming sadness when she's near, as if her grief is contagious. Others claim to smell smoke with no source when she appears. Unlike many ghosts, the burning bride seems aware of her surroundings and the passage of time. She's adapted to the changing cityscape, following the locations where weddings take place, perhaps hoping to find the happiness that was stolen from her. Today, the legend of the burning bride serves as Grand Forks' most heartbreaking ghost story, a reminder that some love stories end in tragedy, but the love itself can echo through eternity. Number 12. The vanishing hitchhiker. Across North Dakota's lonely highways, drivers have reported the same unsettling encounter for generations. A figure appears along the roadside, thumb extended, seeking a ride through the endless prairie darkness. But this hitchhiker's journey never ends the way travelers expect. The phantom hitchhiker appears most often during blizzards and severe weather, when any decent person would stop to help someone stranded on the road. Drivers describe picking up a quiet passenger, usually described as a young person in outdated clothing, who provides an address in the next town over. The conversation is minimal during these rides. The hitchhiker speaks softly about needing to get home or visit family, but their words often seem distant, almost rehearsed. As the driver approaches the given destination, they turn to confirm the address only to find their passenger has vanished, leaving only a damp spot on the seat and the lingering scent of rain or snow. Some drivers, curious about their strange passenger, have sought out the addresses they were given. They often discover the locations or houses where someone died years or even decades ago, usually in car accidents on the very stretch of highway where the hitchhiker was picked up. The phenomenon isn't limited to one location, but has been reported across the state, from the highways near Fargo to the remote roads of the western counties. Each sighting follows the same pattern, suggesting either multiple spirits or one restless soul that travels North Dakota's endless roads. Truckers and traveling salesmen share these stories at truck stops and diners, warning each other about the quiet passengers who never reach their destinations. Some carry rosaries or good luck charms, while others simply refuse to pick up hitchhikers after dark. In a state where helping stranded travelers is a point of pride, the vanishing hitchhiker reminds us that sometimes the people we try to help are beyond our assistance, traveling roads that lead nowhere in this world. If you enjoyed these legends from the Great Plains State, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. North Dakota may be known for its wide open spaces,